Hello. I didn't see you there. How's it going?
How you guys doing?
Good. Just another Saturday or Sunday. What day is it? I've lost track.
It's a Saturday,
Uh,
but every day is like a Sunday.
That is true.
Welcome to our stream once again. Hello, Tuhin. Hello, Skip.
Hello, Mr. Nishank, monkey.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I think Skip is still
Good.
asleep.
What are you doing? I think that should be the question.
Nothing. I'm just chilling. Today has been a busy day. So yeah, working.
Mm.
Are you going live
Mr.
again?
Premek, Mr. Clement, welcome to
I
the
am
stream.
going live. Yeah, I'll be going live in the evening, and I went live in the morning. Evening, morning live. Moving
Okay.
to Mixcloud though. Thanks for the chat we
Yeah,
had last time with Russell. Yeah, I spoke to Russell later on. Aisha and Russell helped
right.
me do the Mixcloud thingy, and now it's gonna be Mixcloud.
Nice.
Hopefully.
I wasted that trial of mine twice. Yeah. 2 बार मैं 90 दिनों का वैसे ही waste कर दिया, live भी नहीं गया because the office was on. All
It's
right.
30
So
days.
officially,
It's 30 days.
yeah, but for somebody who's availed the trial already, they cannot register it again.
But it's 30,
Anywho,
not 9.
earlier it was 90, last time it was 45, this time it's 30. So, for the third time, welcome once again to this live edition of Maybe Talk, hosted by Tuhin Mehta, Skipster, and Monkey. Today, on our special stream, we have two special guests. One of them has already been with us before, but we can't have enough of him. That's the reason why he's returning with us with longer hair, bigger beard, and definitely much more presence online. And before we start, let's welcome everybody: Clement, Premek, Sriharsha, Asrar, Varun. Asrar, please don't promote yourself over here. We have had enough of your WhatsApps today already. And Monkey is actually on a lot of water today. So, yeah, you never know. He might run to take a loo break in the middle.
He's floating.
Anywho, so quickly moving forward, today's one of the guests was selected as the top 10 upcoming DJs by Kuvo in 2018, if I'm not wrong. He hasn't reacted, so I think yes, it is 2018. And the next guest is even more special. He's never been with us. This is the first time that I am meeting him, I think, and this is virtually. So, and he's been doing a pretty good job in the scene down south in Bangalore. He also manages the first guest who's also going to join in. So let's put our hands together for the first guest. Presenting Goos.
Hello.
Welcome, Mr. Goose.
Hello, guys. That was quite some intro.
I'm
Thank you very
the
much.
only one fucking clapping. What the? This is so
Who's
sad.
clapping, bro?
I have the person. You करो कोई carry support ही नहीं है कोई यार.
You took it too literally.
Hmm.
How's it going, guys?
Good, how's it going with you?
Can't complain. Alive, surviving.
Hmm.
So,
No,
yeah.
can only complain. That's why not complaining.
Actually, yeah, it's also true. Nothing else to do. But yeah, so where's Milano? Shall we get Milano on as well? So for everyone's
I thought we
benefit,
were giving him a grand
yes, let's
welcome.
give him an
by-
intro. So
Yes.
Milano, well, I know Milano for 6 or 7-ish years now. I know him from one of his lovely parties and he runs Deep Dictionary, and that's where I got introduced to him. Now he books me because he manages me, so I have like a inside path to that. Apart from me, he manages Weird Sounding Dude and Asrar and a bunch of other people, Premic as well. Towards a lot of great artists, international, books a lot of great Indian artists to come to Bangalore and play. Tours of everyone around the country. Love the sound he's been programming. Great to be a part of the team. He's a friend, manager, and yeah. We've played 2-3 times, maybe more. I can't
Yeah.
remember now, but we've played a few times back to back, which has been good.
Yeah.
So
I don't
yeah,
know.
And yeah, this is also true. No money, no mask, no entry. So yeah. But yeah, let's get Milano on as well.
All right, welcome.
Hello.
Awesome. Thank you so much, boys. That was quite an outstanding intro. Goose,
Yes.
thank you so much. Yeah. So if you're the Hamilton, I have to be the Toto Wolf. Huh?
Yeah, that's true. This is true.
Yeah. So welcome everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me. Like as Goose said, yeah, I've been around for quite a long time, but very quiet chap. I don't like a lot of publicity, or I mean, maybe you can say that I'm the least someone promoting myself on social media or Instagram. So yeah, I just like kind of do my stuff, believe in playing good music, and treating everyone equally, and most of all just staying grounded and kind of taking everybody's feedback and keeping a smile, and making more and more friends. Yeah, but the fraternity is such that yeah, old school, like how Tuhin said. Yeah, just do my stuff, do my work, and yeah, just give no ears to all the criticism or whatever people have to say. So yeah, I've been there for quite a long time. I think more than 10 years now.
I
In
think,
the
bro, when did I met you? I guess I know you the longest, maybe at Fuga. So that was what,
Yeah,
2000,
Fuga,
You were there,
Pebble.
you were there when he was born.
2008, 2008,
Yeah,
2009?
yeah. I started DJing around 2006, but I mean, I came into the clubbing scene by around 2008.
Yeah.
Used to play at Nick's, then Fuga with Submerged for the Sundays.
I remember we did one gig together as well at Fuga, if I'm not wrong.
It was art. Yeah,
Was it was it
yeah.
was it
No,
you
no,
and me, or
no.
was
It
it
was
somebody
not.
else?
No, it was somebody else. I played before. There's this guy called some other DJ. I forgot. It was not a famous producer or something. We had somebody who submerged booked on a Sunday. Some rich. It goes by the names. Uh, yeah, it was more like a fancy name that time, not like a
Okay.
big producer or something. So I played before him. Then you were the judge, if you remember. Okay, yeah. So the biggest part
UDC,
was,
yeah.
yeah, UDC. There was a reality
Mm.
show for which I was a part of. That's how a lot of people got to know about me, because I was the only guy qualified from Bangalore to enter the South Zone for
Mm.
the UDC by Burn. So it was live on MTV, but not like how the current shows go. It was like a quick 2 or 3 weeks reality show, and then yeah, that's how I got in, and then got opportunities from Submerge and a lot of people. Then I took a break. I think around 2012, I buggered off. Basically, I just didn't even say bye to anyone. I just left India. At that point of time, I was working, and I got a better opportunity to go to Dubai and work. So I left, and then I came back after like 3 or 4 years, and then wanted to do something productive. I wanted to. When I came back, the scene was pretty much shit. It was just all commercial and EDM, and all one beer on the table kind of a vibe. So wanted to start something pretty decent, and at that point, I thought, why not get the deep scene back? Like, there's always a craving, and there's always a good fan following for the deep house, melodic house scene. So
Mm.
that's how Deep Dictionary started, and yeah, I started Deep Dictionary in 2015 at a place called Humming Tree in Bangalore, which is not there anymore now.
That was an
And
epic
then
venue.
from there, yeah, from there the journey has been, yeah, pretty much
The
ups and
journey.
downs. But
The
the journey, yeah. Plus we also added the journey with Goose. The journey man became a part of the journey from yeah, like Goose said, we know each other from almost 7 years or so. I met Goose at the early days of Deep Dictionary as a follower of Deep Dictionary, and then got to know that he DJs, and then attended a couple of gigs, and then he also played for a couple of really good gigs with Deep Dictionary as an opening DJ.
Mm.
And then we kind of me and Goose knew that we kind of have the same kind of vibe, and the kind of music that we listen to, and the kind of audience, and everything. So then we decided that, why don't we work together? And yeah, I approached Goose asking him whether if he'd be interested in being a part of the roster. And then yeah, things have been going well for the last 3 years now, right? 2 years, I would say, Goose.
Yeah,
It's been
two and
two
a
years
bit.
since we,
Two and a bit, yeah.
two and a bit.
Yeah.
leaving the 2020 and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Got it. Yeah, so that's all about me, guys. So I'm happy to be where I am and happy to be a part of this talk show
No,
today.
I think you're getting
Joining you
questions
all.
from Clement as to why you're not
Yeah,
signing with
Clement's
Clement
them.
is
on
the
fire
star of the
today.
show today.
Clement is
Clement is the
back.
star of the show. Clement is the moon
Clement,
of the show today.
yeah.
Totally.
Clement is going to be firing now.
Hey,
Yeah.
Milano, you knew when you were in Dubai, you knew one of the pioneer DJ Dubai guys. I can't. His name is.
Majam.
Wait,
Bad jam.
Majam. Yeah. The Tuhin introduced me to him, in fact, when I was in Dubai.
did
Yeah.
we meet him once at AD Twin? At I don't know if it was 2019 or 18 when we went and we met.
No,
Was
I
his
don't think
name
Mad Jam.
Rio?
No,
No,
I
there
don't
was
think
someone
Mad
else.
Jam.
It was somebody else.
It
I think the
wasn't Mad
surname
Jam.
was Suzuki, but I can't remember.
Oh,
No,
that
no,
is,
no.
you're talking about Kenobi, man. Yeah. So Kenobi was not a, so I'll tell you. So I know, yeah, you're talking about, yeah, even I can't pronounce his first.
Atsuda, I
Atsuda
think.
Suzuki, yeah. So
Yeah.
we were buddies. So basically, he won the Pioneer DJ Championship the year before I entered Dubai. And the next year's Pioneer DJ Championship, he was a mentor. So basically, he was a judge and he was also like kind of, coaching, mentoring people around.
Right.
And he was a good friend. And then we met him in. Were you there when we met him in Amsterdam?
So when I was in Amsterdam, I met one pioneer DJ guy through the Kuvo thing, and I think Atsuda, whatever his name is, was his boss. So I happened to meet both of them together, which is when I think I bumped into you over there because you went to meet him for a coffee to gently catch up.
Yeah. We caught up after a long
So,
time.
yeah.
We used to hang around together in Dubai. Very nice guy. Very sweet
Yeah,
guy.
damn sweet.
Japanese guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very and very skillful DJ. In fact, Skip probably, if you don't know about him, he was also one of the scratch punters, I would say, and he used to play drum and bass, a little bit of everything, like more of the offbeat stuff, and then he was brilliant. And in fact, he was the first one to train people on the RMX there, and then he knew how to kind of get behind the decks and show those tricks with the CDJs and stuff, which not a lot of people. So only in Dubai, the hip hop DJs were usually the ones who were using all this, tricks and stuff. But then he was like, he came in, he completely played all the genres. He could play anything, and he could still do whatever tricks he was able to do. So that's what got him the championship winning the previous year. And then the next year, this guy won. Subandrio won.
Yeah, Subandrio was all that. Yeah,
Subandrio won.
I met. Yeah, Subandrio, and there was another one. I forget his name.
The year I was there, Subandrio won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen after that. Nothing happened.
Folks are on fire.
Sorry,
What are you saying,
Skip?
Skip?
After that, it didn't happen. Like the DJME, it didn't happen.
No, I don't think it
stopped,
happened
though.
after.
It's not
Yeah,
happening
it stopped. It stopped. I think it stopped. Yeah. I remember
Became pioneer
2000.
DJ radio.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But they have a good store they call DJ Corner. They do a lot of promos and stuff. Basically,
But that's
they
a,
are
that's a
very
separate store
yeah,
altogether.
separate
It's
store.
not,
Yeah.
yeah, they just
Not
dealers.
affiliated with dealers.
No,
Yeah.
no, yeah.
So tell us about present. Where are you as a DJ? Are you still performing, or are you just behind the scenes now? I mean, there's nobody behind the scenes as such in this industry. Everybody is in front, even if they are,
I would say
managing.
I'm behind. I like to be behind. I'm not the guy who would like to come into the limelight. I've never been that kind of a guy.
Okay.
So yeah, I like to manage things now. So now I'm really choosy. I don't take much gigs. Uh, I usually prefer taking gigs only if I know that okay, the promoter or the venue who's going to book me is they're professional, number one, and they're really booking me for the music that I play and not for anything else. And then secondary thing I also see is that with all the paperwork and like Clement mentioned, the payments and all that, because it's a very tricky market because we have so many people in the scene, so many promoters, so many DJs. So everybody wants to come in and they don't know exactly. A lot of people are not that professional. So Yeah. So instead of getting stuck in between all this hassle, so what I do is my gigs are very limited. I don't play much. So I only play when I know that the vibe is going to be good, and I know that this probably this gig will I'll fit into this gig or something. And then apart from that, I put all my time and I dedicate my time towards curating gigs with Deep Dictionary or managing Goose, and I also manage Asra, weird sounding dude, and we also have Premik, who we signed up a few months ago. So we have been trying to
Premik is
get
coming
Premik
out
a
with
lot
a
of.
he's
Yeah,
coming
we've
out with a
been.
new alias, you know that, no, bro? Premik. It's called
Really?
Above and Behind. Yeah.
I saw the comment above and behind. Yeah, the thing is that yeah, Premix been having a little troublesome start because of the whole COVID pandemic. The first gig, unfortunately, he started this set, and then though it was a limited capacity event, in fact, we were the first one to start a gig after the first pandemic, but we did it with the right set of rules and regulations. But unfortunately, that had to be shut early, so the Premix set didn't get well. It didn't go as expected. And then after that, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Yep.
yes.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, after that, yeah, it's been kind of roller coaster with the second lockdown and stuff. So we're just kind of thinking how to get things done. So yeah, hopefully soon we are going to get more gigs for Premic, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that.
Mm.
Yeah, Clement suggests that Premix should have an alias, Premix.
Premix.
So,
Yeah.
Goose, tell us
On a
about
roll
your
today.
last gig. Tell us about the last gig that you played. Where
Who,
was
me?
it? Yeah, you are Goose.
I didn't hear whether you said my name or Milano's name, but
Yeah, Milano. So,
where?
Goose, tell me about your gig.
I think the last one was back to back only, right? Milano with us in Pebble.
No, no. Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember where I
That's
played.
the last. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
No,
think that was
Abhi.
the last one.
If it is a solo show of yours, then that was at Royal Orchid, the
Oh
Journey on
yeah,
Tour,
okay. So that was the journey on tour, but the one for what it's
back to
worth,
back.
yeah, the one before that. Uh, I think that was our third or fourth back to back. I think probably the best one yet. I think we're understanding each other's vibe better and flow better and mixing and track selection and all that stuff. But that was quite
So,
good. I mean, it was spaced out, so
so,
we could also
so
have
like
fun.
speaking about these back-to-backs, how do you guys uh, go about it? Because like we see a lot of back-to-back uh, sets or whatever
Yeah,
gigs and stuff, and
yeah.
not all of them really do justice to what it can be. So, but
Is it a back to
you
back or is
guys,
it a side to side?
it's
No, no. When Milano's playing, I'm standing behind him, and I'm playing. He's standing behind. So it's actually front to back. There's not enough space in the booth otherwise. You walked into
see,
that one.
Nishank
Yeah.
just walked into that one. So yeah, so how
But
do you guys go about it? Because it's not
so
it's not an easy thing to pull off.
between, well, Milano and I usually, Milano takes lead in terms of sort of setting the vibe in terms of the tracks he's picking. So he, let's say, shortlists a bunch of them and sends them over, and then I uh, listen to that either if I have it or Spotify or whatever, and I get a sense for
Hmm.
that, and then pick my shortlisted tunes. But it's not a pre-constructed flow.
Mm.
We always kind of vibe off what's happening in front of us, but we know generally because our sounds are so similar, what space we're going in and where we'll start and where it'll go and where we'll finish. But we have enough on the USB stick to change course in case it's much better than we expect or not as good or people aren't responding to what we thought they would like.
Mm.
But yeah, we've gotten better at that also in terms of vibing off each other. And I think the first couple of times we played, we did, because we had longish sets, whatever, 2.5 or so, we did 2 tracks Milano, 2 tracks I. And then
Mm.
as the night picked up, we went 1-1. But the last one, I think for the whole set, we just did 1-1 and played almost a 2.5 hour set, and the flow was the best and it was really
Mm.
good.
So when you do B2B, do you play 1-1 or 2-2s? Otherwise, if you are, what do you prefer?
I like 1-1,
We-
which is so much more engaging.
Yeah.
I think we start with 2-2, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
Goose. When we start, yeah, the first 1 hour we usually go 2-2 because, yeah, like Goose said, I just give a glimpse of what energy level I'm going to probably push it at the gig. And I send him like maybe a 5 or 10 tracks because usually back to back maximum is 2 hours or 2.5 hours. I mean, usually most of the time when we play, it's 2 hours. So we distribute the number of tracks and say that, okay, I'll play 10, you play 10. So I just send my 10, whatever tracks I'm going to probably choose for that gig. It's pretty open, to be very honest. I mean, there is no there's nothing hidden here. We definitely. I mean, I would openly say that it's not a spot on decision where we just come without even knowing what he's going to play. No, we prepare, but not to the core. Like we just do a basic prep where I send a few tracks to Goose saying that since it's a back to back, so both of us come from a different kind of uh, music background because though both play more of deep and melodic, I go for the. I usually my track selections are always even whether if I'm playing my solo gigs or back to back, my track selections have a longer bass lines. Like it's more groovier. The tracks are a little bit more intense and intricate. So what I do is I select a few of them and I send it to Goose and I tell Goose that this is the energy level that I'm going to keep. And then Goose does the job. He decides what are all the other tracks that would go well in that gig. And I absolutely, till the time we go to the booth and even when we play, I don't know what Goose is going to play. So he
But I
matches.
don't know.
Yeah, so he matches the tempo, the track, and the vibe and everything. The first 1 hour we go for two tracks each, so that we get that long, nice, kind of pushing it slowly from melodic to groovier, and then going a little harder. And then the last 1 hour we go for a one-on-one, so that that's the time where it gets little quite interesting because we don't know, whether if he's going to drop it down or whether if he's going to take it up. So sometimes it happens where he'll play a track and maybe the next track I'm playing might not be exactly that same energy. I might drop it down a little bit, but then we catch up on the next track. Like somebody, so the other person notices that okay, we have to pick the energy and then we push it up.
Guys, everybody who has never done a back to back, I think this will serve as a very good strategy approach or advice, as you may want to take it. Uh, it's actually a pretty decent way to do it. I mean, it's pretty much applicable to most of the artists out there who are performing. And one more thing, I think, before we proceed further, Clement wants a B2B between Tuhin and Weird Sounding Dude. Let's put it out there. He has insisted, he has requested. I think he's almost in tears on the 16th floor apartment of his in Bangalore. If you do not, if you ignore his request, I don't want his blood to be on our hands. So that's why, Clement, I'm on your team, bro. Your voice should be heard.
We will have to double time his tunes to keep up.
It's okay, no. He can play
Yeah.
70 and Tony will play 140 BPM.
I
Correct.
think Clement
Then add
wants
skip also in this, no?
Skip to comment.
Yeah.
I just wanted just for people who are starting off back-to-back thinking, what you guys do is a great thing. Where one guy plays like a vibe and the other guy just follows it. So initially two tracks together or a three track or whatever. That's a good idea. And the other guy by the time can get a feel for someone who's just starting off. That's a great way to understand the other person. A lot of people just jump into like the whole one track me, one track you situation and just. Now I don't think it ever works if the people don't know the vibes. Whereas if someone's playing like two or three tracks, whether 2 3 tracks are like 15 minutes, that's a decent enough time to create a journey. So yeah, that's
But
what
I
I
would
feel.
also say don't do a back to back if your sound doesn't match the other artist even before
Yeah.
you take the gig. I
Don't
see
do
too
that.
many instances of that, like one
Frankly
deep guy
speaking,
and one techno
I've
guy.
always done B2Bs like that. I don't care about the other person's sound. Tuhin, if you remember the 2019 May 4th gig that we did, I'm so sorry. Let's move on. We don't talk about certain gigs. But Tuhin, do you remember one of the gigs where I opened for you, where back to back with somebody,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
one of those gigs, yeah,
Yeah.
it was completely new vibe, but it was fun. So I'll tell you about Delhi Boys. Okay, Delhi Boys, they want to do B2B, but they also don't want the other guy to stay on the console because it's their track playing, and when the other guy's track is playing they have to come back on the console. Why? Because they have to cue their next track. So it's always worked out for me when it's 2-2, so that way I at least get to stay between two halves of both the songs and have my presence felt. Otherwise, and two of my friends, because they are my friends, I'm gonna name them on this live stream.
No, one
And
more
Akshay.
interesting thing is that we don't do a back to back. So we decided when we started this whole back to back, we decided that we're going to keep it as a once in one gig in 2 months.
Right.
Hmm.
So you also need that gap when you do a back to back, because if you keep doing a back to back, like say every month, it's not going to work because you're going to pretty much get bored because you definitely will have at least a few tracks to again play at least in your opening tracks or something, and then you will kind of feel that the gap between both of you is kind of too close, that because you just did a B2B gig like maybe 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks back. So we decided that we'll keep it once in 2 months, and worst case scenario, if the promoter is really good, or if somebody really wants us to do, then we'll keep it like maybe sometimes very odd times maybe 1 gig a month. That's a rule that we thought we will implement it when we decided to do this project. And yeah, we stick to it. Like, so we usually do a back to back only once in 2 months, and so that we both also kind of don't lose interest in it, and the vibe also is good, and we have enough tracks to select, and every set we play different tracks. We don't repeat
Hmm.
anything.
So when you guys are like playing these back-to-back sets, you both of you are essentially on CDJs, right, with your individual USBs and stuff.
Yeah.
So is there a common way in which you guys are organizing your music, or do you have the ability to read the other person's library to understand where this is going? Uh, just to keep the unity of the set going.
The one thing I know we both have in common in the way that we like prep our music, whether we play alone or with someone else, is that we have a playlist, let's say, for the gig. So in that sense, at least we know we're not limited to that, but we know generally we're going to play from within that stuff. But we don't tailor our way of preparation for, at least I don't, for a B2B. I have my sorting system, but there's enough information on the screen in the way that we've each prepped our USBs that very rarely have I had to go into like the info screen to dig out for something else.
Mm,
Milano uses the old key system. I use alphanumeric, but for me, where I'm at now, I'm okay to trust my ears to mix in key or off key as long as it's mixing relatively okay.
mhm,
It's fitting the vibe and the energy. In terms of, I mean, basic BPM progression, we don't play such a wide range that we're jumping too far up or down in any direction. And anyway, artists that we're listening to, for the most part, there is an overlap. But I think like what Milano was saying, his style of the deep and melodic stuff that he likes has kind of he's slowed down from the trance synthy stuff that he used to listen to reach this point. I've come from a more housey, groovy, organic space to reach this deep. So that common ground that we have is still very common. But what I would play on the heavy side might be different to what he's playing on the heavy side. But from a prep point of view or looking at the screen point of view or waveforms, that we're using most things similarly. So I've never had that issue. Actually, even beyond Milano, I played with great sounding dude. It was okay. I played with Greg, and everyone has different styles of preparation, but
mm.
everything's there. So
I
never been a
think you
handicap.
said that weird sounding dude is okay. That's what Goose just said.
Honestly, that's it. It was
Who's
because
watching
of
this
the
video,
3000 that the set was good.
take note of this point. Goose said that weird sounding Goose is okay.
Yeah, the CTJ 3000 made that set good. We were both okay, average on the day.
Well saved, well saved, well saved. Everybody jump in. But I have a question, and this is not to Goose, not to Milano. It is to Skip. When was the last time that you played a B2B, and what was it like?
Whenever I'm on the
He
console,
hijacked Manny.
yeah, I've been. I go to the console and I just have to be on the console. Yeah, I'm doing B2B with everyone. Like whenever I'm on the console,
It's not B2B.
yeah,
Hey, Bhagwan.
I'm just jumping in and there. So it's been with Manny and me and Manny. We have a very similar. We've grown up with similar music when it comes to electronic. We have very similar taste. For me, he's one of the best DJs that we have, straight up.
Bro, you have
And
a very diverse taste. Yeah, sorry to say that, but I don't think anybody can match your taste in music. I mean,
no,
the
but the
kind of
thing is
games
that
that we play every time we travel, no? So Skip plays mukhla of a song on a phone and asks you to recognize it. First 5 to 10 seconds, you have to
yeah,
recognize it. And the kind of trip
yeah,
that
yeah.
it goes, because the Bangalore airport to hotel journey is one of the longest in the world.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And you can either fall
That's
asleep or you can just look at each other's face. Never has it happened that I've been in a car with Skip and we've seen each other's face. This guy just knows how to keep journey going. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
that's because it's because of my battle background. Because in competitions, you have to make sure that you have a weapon, like a secret weapon for everything. Like you have a strong track, and that can be any genre. So for me, that comes the idea of liking good music comes from there, and then that kind of shows in my sets also. Like today's live set that I did, I started off with a cover version of "Just the Two of Us," which is it's a very popular track, but the version that I played, yeah, but the version that I played was so different, and I can totally see myself playing it in a gig, but flipping it in a way like I don't know if you guys know that. I know Nishang knows the Tadao song by Jake the yeah. So that song
KJ.
actually is a FKJ. That song is actually 60 BPM, and I have played that track in one of the live streams with the techno set. Like I'm playing like a housey tech housey kind of track, and that track has a drop. And in that drop, I played Tada, which is a 60 BPM track because it's half BPM, it's mixes. During the drop, I loop the techno drop. The track goes on. I play it for a minute or two, and then the loop goes off, and it goes back to the techno thing. In fact, we did the exact same thing in UTC when we won the championship. We did it with the a track by Buka Shade called Domino, and we mixed it with Rihanna's Diamonds Are Forever. So it had Diamonds Are Forever. No, Kanye West Diamonds Are Forever. So Domino ka drop aata hai and then Diamonds Are Forever, and then it goes back to techno. So I think all those ideas is how that's my idea of B2B. Like the other guy should come with a bomb thingy in their eyes and just goes off. So yeah.
But Tuhin, how do you and or how have you and Ash prepped your B2B? Since he's on Ableton and you're on CDJs, what was your
Yeah, that would be
approach?
very similar style. I think Tuhin would be able to relate to what stuff that I do because I'm assuming Ash would be a guy who's adding stuff to your existing track. That would be for
Yeah, I
me
mean,
that's the kind of beat that I would like to be part of.
I think the first thing that works for B2B with Ash and me is the fact that both of us have a really good vibe and energy together on stage.
That's the most important thing.
But
That's the
yeah,
most
but what I mean, initially, I think the first 2 or 3 times we had these gigs, we would just sit maybe 10 minutes before the gig, and he would play 10 songs that he has, and I would play 10 songs, and he like, yeah, okay, we'll wing it from here. I guess it just comes from the fact that he knows his and understands his music very well, and I have the same understanding with the music that I'm playing. And even though our sounds are quite different, there is
Yeah.
unison because he's playing live percussion, or I'm remixing stuff on the fly and sort of building bridges. We're always building bridges into each other's tracks, and I think that's what keeps it interesting because no, even if you know the track inside out, it sounds completely different when we're playing.
So
But
tell me one thing.
I sampling Ash
School
also.
bald?
Wait. I can't. Who's asking the question now?
My question is more,
Huh.
does
Back to back
everybody
question.
at the music school bald?
Yeah, you don't get a job there if you're not. No offer letter.
So Rapunzel
No,
can
my
never
question
get
is,
a
are you
job.
sampling Ash's percussions also?
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah. So that's a cool way to be part of. I think that's what makes a back-to-back very interesting because it cannot be replicated. Whereas a DJ set,
Yeah.
because it's one person, can be replicated. But
Hmm.
a B2B is like, because people are just, you're thinking in the moment. At least when I'm playing, I'm thinking in the moment. And
Yeah, but with,
मैं तो
with,
generally
with
मैं
Ash,
music
see,
set replicate नहीं कर सकता.
it's not just the percussion, right? Like even Ash also goes live on the mic and stuff. So I remember we had a closing set at
Yeah.
Gomadras one year,
Go
and
Madras.
that was
I remember that one. That was nuts.
that
Insane.
was
That was.
absolute fire. Yeah, that
It was
I mean,
dope.
it was again, it was completely
Dude, are you talking about the
contemporary.
one
It was,
where Aisha played, then
yeah, I think
Shantanu
so.
played? Bro, that
Yeah, I think so.
is for me that night. I'll tell you the story. I cannot tell the story right now, but you guys, I think you know the story. That night was like the best Go Madras. I cannot forget that Go Madras. Like the after
All Go Madras stories
party,
can't be said
I
on
remember
air.
everything. Yeah. It was too good.
We are banning Shine and Clement's comments on the streams now.
Who's nuts, Goose? Shine, that also can't be said on air. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's not schools.
But I want to put it out there. If you're a promoter or Shine, you're a guy who rents equipment to promoters who are booking us DJs. If you know they're booking a back-to-back artist and they're sending only 2 CDJs, please don't rent it to them. Or
Yeah.
promoters, please give us 4 CDJs. Otherwise, it's no fun for us.
At least
Yes,
three.
You're
correct.
basically giving us 1 CDJ per artist. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's the worst part. That's the worst part. Like we have had back-to-backs where we have had like 4 CDJs where we had that we could go a little extra and kind of do some loops and like kind of play around. But when it's just 2 CDJs, the problem is that the other person, it's very difficult to stand idle, right? Like I remember
What do you do?
we played a back-to-back. Yeah, we played a back-to-back somewhere last year in Christmas. It was a white party. So when we started our set, the floor was a little empty, like not totally empty. We probably had maybe around like 15 people, 20 people, but a lot of people are standing around. So the problem that me and Goose faces, number one, Goose is a little taller than me. So when we are in the console, I look a little shorter. That's completely fine. I mean, unless and until we are playing good music, that's fine. But then when it's just one CDJ, we have to keep shuffling sides because sometimes when we decide to move from 2 tracks to 1 track each, we usually move sides, or sometimes we play it in a way that one guy starts in one CDJ, and if we are playing 2 tracks each, the second track I have to play is from this CDJ, the other CDJ. So we have to move sides because I can't stand on the right side and hit my cue point or hit the play button, which is on a CDJ, which is on the left side when there is another person standing right next to me on the left side. So we have to keep shuffling sides. And the worst part is that when there are only 2 CDJs, sometimes when Goose is playing 2 tracks, I have nothing to do because we have just started the set. We can't do much of effects. I can't just do anything else. And then, unfortunately, I'm not skilled enough to do any other stunts in the console apart from playing music. So I just have to stand idle and then probably look at people's face, keep sipping beers. There are times where the beer's gotten over and I'm just sipping and I realize that, okay, there's no beer in the bottle. So it's funny. So at least, yeah, give the artists like, maybe three, at least four CDJs so that, somebody who's performing a back-to-back can do that extra mile.
He just answered the same. किसी का जवाब तो दिया भी उसने. You need the other two for preps, man. But I don't agree to Milano, man. This has
sample looping.
This has no, not sampling. In general, you need
the question. So, he teaches this stuff. He should be answering this question.
Just
playing on
you just keep the audio.
Laptop also.
Because I have faced the same problem with Manny. You need so what we do is for Manny we just give him like Manny usually plays on tractor, so he has his X1. He's वो अपने कोने में लगा रहता है play करने के लिए, and I have my son. I have like decks with me. So I have I understand the whole scenario where the other guy needs, because there's a lot of things happening, and you're as a DJ you're not playing the next song. You're playing the next 3 songs in your head. So you need to see all those things. Like, at least I come from that area where, like how Goos, you're saying you have a pool, but you still have to go through that pool. Yeah, you're thinking like 3 songs, and when you have 2 decks, you cannot really. How can you be like? थोड़ी देर में like the other guy will start punching the other guy. भाई मेरा काम तो करने दे, because this guy is not able to do his shit. So.
No, at this time of the night when we've done this, I mean, our music is so much deeper and it's so much more melodic, and there's no groove, so you can't even dance. If you dance on stage, you look like a fool because it's not that dancey. And you're playing 2 tracks. Like, what the hell are you supposed to do?
You guys will love this, the feature, the instant doubles feature. Actually, I personally feel that a lot of DJs don't use this. So basically, you choose the master deck. Whatever track is playing, let's say you have a deck on, there's a scenario where you have 2 decks on one side and 1 deck on the right side, and you want to play the let's say Milano is playing on the right deck, so, right, and Goos is playing on the left deck, and now the track that is supposed to come out has to come out from the right deck. So what you can do is you can just make the right deck a master from the left deck, press hold sync, the right deck will automatically come to the left deck, and from the position itself. So you just put the fader up, and you have that track on this thing, and you have this thing empty now, and you can play the track from there. Yeah,
good
point. Thing. Yeah, so you can. That saves a lot of problems, I'd say. I do it with when you're playing with like a single turntable. That's how I do. Like a lot of times, what happens is one turntable might not work. A lot of times this has happened. You needle toot gaya. Like while playing, because I do a lot of backspins and all. I always have 4 needles when I'm playing. So if the needle is broken, you just use instant doubles. So instant double kiya, the turntable that is not playing, you just play music on that on internal mode. So that's where the concept has come in, where you're playing from one deck. So channels are up, but you're using one deck to mix in. So back-to-back DJs use this.
And doubles on my DDJ SX2 that I used to have. It was the easiest to switch on that controller, because even though I had the SX2, I was still using record.
I personally feel that long sync is kind of weird. It should be double tap. So usually in every controller controller on any company is just double tap, because instant double. But in the CDJs you have to sync fucking lamba dabaw tabhi milta hai. It's so weird.
I wanted to ask Milano, bro, have you always been CDJs guys, or were you ever on controllers or software?
How do you prepare at home now? What's the scene like? Are you using record box at home, or what? Do you have controller or stuff like that?
Yeah, so to answer Nishank's question first, Nishank, I started with CTJs. I was a pro hardware guy, like in Tuhin's terms, always. Tuhin has been like a big inspiration in my career, just to give credits, because he has always been that guy who I have looked up to when it comes to any of the CDJ tutorials or the product launches. Tuhin reminds. I mean, I remember Tuhin, like, and Tuhin also will remember me, because even like back those days, like 2008, 2009, whenever there used to be a workshop, I'll be the first guy to be there because I wanted to know what's happening and what's this product about. So in between, I took a shift. When I came back from Dubai, I was using my tractor with X1, and also I had a F1 controller. So I was triggering a little bit of loops, drums, and all those extra stuff from the F1 controller, and I had the X1 to kind of play the track. So I was in between. I was trying to be, like everybody at one point would want to experiment to the core, and I did try to play from 4 channels, which obviously does not sound good at some point of time. Then I limited it to just 3 channels with the X1 and F1, and then I moved back. So when I was playing with the laptop, I realized that I didn't like it because I was totally losing out my interaction with the crowd. Like I'm always a person who likes to see the crowd, though I don't do much stuff. I would like to see their reaction, and I would like to when I'm playing. And plus, the main thing is you can never compare playing from a hardware to playing from a laptop, because the hardware stuff, CDJ, always has to feel, when you hit that play button and when you exactly have to like kind of do stuffs in your CDJs, that gives you a different thrill when you use a CDJ. So in between, I moved to laptop and I got back again to CDJ from 2015 or so. So maybe in between 2 years, I was using laptop. I didn't like it. Then I moved back to CDJs. And to answer Skip's question, yeah, my preparations are I do my homework with Recordbox, Skip. That's one thing that I've been doing from the time I started, from the time I got introduced to Recordbox, which was at least I would say last 8 years. I've been always trying to like go in, download my tracks, put it in the record box. And the main thing that I do, which I would also recommend other DJs to do, is that sometimes the most important thing during your preparation is to set your cue points.
Yeah.
Basically what I do always is to set my start point, end point, and also if I feel that there is a point where you can loop a track or something, I just mark them and set my hot cue points. And always I make sure that when I play, if my CDJ is not showing that up, I call the promoter or somebody and I ask them to change the CDJs, because for me, my loop points are very I that's where I'm very precise with my mixing, because I mix and I send in the next track exactly on dot where I mark the exit point of the previous track. So that way you can make your sets more tighter. When you know that you're doing, your bars, your loops, and you know that where exactly at what point you're sending the next track in, because you've been doing your homework regularly. So that also becomes a habit, and it helps you in future, where sometimes if there is a CDJ which does not probably have they have not updated the firmware, and if it's not even showing the loop points, then even then you would have registered it so well in your memory that you will still be comfortable playing a tighter set, because you know where you have to exit and where you have to press play to the next track. So a lot of DJs are now struggling. I mean, everyone can DJ now. It's not a rocket science. It's nothing. Everyone can do it. But the thing is that it's about how you can make your set tighter, and how, because making a set tighter obviously will give a different impact, on the audience, and also people who are there. Apart from the audience, whoever is listening to your music, they'll definitely start liking your set, because you're not giving that too much of a gap in between to mix one track to another track and making it sound boring. So that's why I use Record Box, and I make sure that before every gig I do my homework with Record Box. So that answers the second question as well, Skip.
Perfect.
Your doubts are clear.
My doubt.
Skip should start organizing his record books now based on this. Skip, please.
Yeah. The funniest part is Goose, when we play a back to back. So always I'll point out to the exit point and the player to Goose, bro. This is where the track is getting over. He'll be like, bugger off, man. I know where to mix, and I'll be like, okay. So obviously I would have set the exit point, because when I play a solo set, I know that that's the point where I'm going to mix the next track. But Goose knows, because his tracks are different, the way he plays is different. So when I show him, he'll be like, yeah, I have noted. But then I'll be looking at it, the exit point, the track is moved forward, and I'll be like, okay, bro, when are you going to mix it? Take it easy, bro. I'll mix it. So yeah, that's something funny that we go through during our B2Bs.
Earlier times we used to, I remember we used to remember the timing.
Yeah.
I used to 30-second ka would be it was like
Yeah.
30 seconds, 30 60 seconds. It would be like division of 30, 15 60, 15 30
Yeah,
60.
15, 30, 45, 60. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still works though.
So,
It's still.
yeah,
I
I
do
Do you
still
remember?
remember
use that
one.
from time to time when I don't know the tune or whatever. The
Yeah,
marker's
yeah.
off or the outro is
No, I do
not a
remember one
regular
gig
outro
of
or whatever.
mine. I'm not ashamed to share this, but as beginners, we have all done stuff. So I remember one of my gigs, like when I started, I wrote down the entire timing in one sheet for one of the gigs, probably like for 5 or 10 tracks, and I had it in my CDJ folder back those days because those days we didn't have that cue point marker. So when that time comes, I used to see the sheet when that track is going on, and I used to know, okay, I have to mix the next track on this time, and I used to do that earlier. So I've done stuff like that as well, like when I started, and when technology was not that advanced as it is now.
Mm.
I
Now you can use the
I
comments
2 days back I found
to
my
do
this
that.
thing. Huh?
What, bro?
Two
Sorry, I
days
always cut
ago,
you off.
I found my case logic, and I've been playing off that, and I see all the things that I've written. So actually, I remember
Yeah.
like post 2005 6, I've stopped writing BPMs. Also, I was like, can't samal lumko tension nahi hai." Before that, I used to write BPMs also. So after that, it was like, oh, cool. Let's just mix it. Whatever happens, happens. Have you ever tried
And
mixing
for what
like
it's
with the pitch? I used to. So I remember there was a club that I used to play, and the jog dial broke. So I used to mix it with the pitch fader. So fast,
Did you
slow, and then move. No,
did you break it?
I don't know, but then there were issues with it. So I don't know.
Damn. Which player was this, Kip? If it was
Unless,
1,000 oh, that would have been really
no, no,
difficult back those days.
no. I get used to things very fast. So
Damn good.
done. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, you mix
Because
the
I,
track first with 2 points.
We still do
So
that
you
on
mix,
turntables, right? Like it's the
yeah,
same thing on
turntables. Yeah,
turntables.
basically this.
Yeah.
So I got
Because
that
that
by seeing one of the turntablists. I think it was Philip Senior or something. Someone. In fact, one more thing I noticed, which Tuhin told me later on, was they used to mix it with the clap, the down, not the offbeat, so that they don't miss the drop ke baad wala part. So usually in progressive house, the second part you always like you are like so excited you want to mix, so you always miss the first kick. So you would you would cue the next track with the clap, and you mix on the clap instead of the thing, which is a very very helpful tip for experimental music, because in experimental music the clap is always constant, kick always keeps changing. I use that a lot.
But actually, I mean,
Yeah.
it's, even with this new whatever organic house that's happening now, with this level of organic percussion, the whatever bongos, congos, and
is
all,
it vegan?
sometimes you can,
Yeah.
yeah, plant-based music. So, yeah, but if you like, don't mix on whatever the regular one,
It goes, it goes
it actually can be nicely.
But is
it
it
goes
not
against
because of
meets per minute.
Yeah, meets per minute.
no? I have been playing that Afro house kind of vibe, but the shuffle kind of makes it difficult to mix
Yeah,
in. That's what I've realized. The
right.
the snare is a little off, so you have to kind of work around the spot in the track. Jahan par it will mix with the other track. Otherwise,
You do a
you
3-bar
cannot
loop,
mix.
you'll be fine. You shuffle everything up.
Tuhin, your
Maybe
vegan stuff reminds me of a joke which happened recently. So I think after the first lockdown got over, there was one of the gigs, somebody who came to the gig. Yeah, this guy met me near the bar, and then he's like, "Hey, bro, how are you? I know you. You run Deep Dictionary, blah blah." I was like, I always acknowledge people. I said, "Thank you so much, bro. I'll send you my tracks. You have to listen. I make music." I'm like, "Sure, man." I usually never ask people a lot of questions because they always have a list of things to talk about them. So I'll be like, "Okay, send it to hello@deepdictionary.club because that's our common email ID." Like, bro, I make some amazing forest music, and I was like, "Okay." I asked him like, "What's the genre called, bro? Masnagudi or Kabini?" Because I've never heard of forest music. I was like, okay, I didn't know what genre that is. I was like, okay, what's the genre called? I make forest music, bro. You should listen to it.
I think that's the new name for jungle.
Jungle,
Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say, new name for jungle.
Avoid Chambal.
So it is crazy, like how you said, is it vegan as like forest music? I was like, okay, what's that?
Shit.
All right, gentlemen, it's 555, the Nelson number. That
And to
means
pull
we're
out a
close
cigarette.
of the ending of the stream.
Yeah, this was fun though. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Time
I told
flew.
you,
Didn't realize time flew by.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was about 55 minutes after we started. But for
Fun
what
session.
it's worth, I think someone from Mixed In Key has been tuning into these streams because they just released their new version with support for record books. And I know we were talking about this not too long ago. So
Yeah,
if
Yakov
anyone
must
uses
be
it,
watching
pro tip,
our.
update,
Yeah,
upgrade, whatever.
Yakov must have been
So
watching our
what's
The
stream.
question.
the what's the update now? Like, can you can put the keys in record box, or what was it? It was always there, right?
No, the keys anyway you could do even up to version 8, but version 10 you can like
Yeah.
Mixed In Key sets the cue points and it does up to
Auto
8,
cue points.
even on 8, which you can now export to record box.
actually, I'm going to stop using mixed in keys because I think Recordbox has been doing a fantastic job in the.
It
And
has, I'll
Yeah.
give it that.
so, yeah, I'm
I
not going to
agree.
buy the version of.
I don't buy it because I have a perpetual license, but yeah.
So, of
Yeah, he has version 12 before it's released.
Milano.
No. I was one of the first few people to actually support mixed in keys. So like from version 1. So everybody who bought it at that time has a perpetual license or
Is it
unlimited upgrades for life.
so before we go, before we sign off, there's a question from
There's a
Milan.
last question. Yeah.
That what
Yeah.
was
Finally, a valid question, not a dad joke from Clement.
hardware-based style of playing or laptop? Does audience know the difference or your pure joy of playing hardware hashtag? Did I not get the whole question?
Yeah.
No,
I
that's
did.
that's
I
about it.
did. That's about it. Yeah. So yeah, Harish, how's it going? Huh? Long time. Well, with respect to the is from an audience point of view, I think if it's there's not going to be much of a difference. I mean, anybody who's playing from a laptop or a CDJ, a guy can't say whether if it's coming out from a laptop or a CDJ. But from a DJ's point of view, yeah, there's definitely a difference. Both has its advantages. Both has its pure joy. But for me, I kind of figured out that I need a lot of interaction. I like to see. I would not like to see just the screen in front of me, and it becomes a habit for a lot of DJs who usually play from a laptop. Even though if they're not doing anything, they inside psychologically they would not like to see people, so they would just go into their screen and try to pretend like they are working or try to do something. I'm not saying everyone does it. A lot of people who are productive and who know what they're doing, they really do their job. But a lot of other DJs, they kind of go in. I have seen guys checking emails in between their sets, so that's a different story. So I remember a DJ checking his email, while he was playing. So I was like, bro, what are you doing? Oh man, there's an important email from office. I was saying, I'm like, cool, man. So yeah, so playing from a hardware is from a pure joy point of view. I think I like playing from CDJs because that gives you that whole freedom of not looking into a screen and doing your stuff. Makes you happy.
Which
Okay.
one more
question.
Mixed In Key or record box? I think both are the same now. So at this point, I don't think there's a difference. I use both up until maybe version 6. When the alphanumeric came, I still felt Mixed In Key had an edge, but with every subsequent update that's happened since, it's more or less been the same. So I can't say one is better than the other. Both are doing it right.
I mean, I will say this: the record box has a much better BPM detection than mixed in key.
Yeah, so I use Recordbox for BPM and I use Mixed In Key for the key. And now I'll probably use Recordbox for key as well. So yeah, as long as you get the right key, it doesn't matter which one you use.
Sweet. All right. So on that note, I would like to thank Milano. Thank you, Goose, for
Thank you,
taking the
guys.
time joining us today. And we definitely hope we have to see you again, but in different on a different platform, perhaps in person.
Yeah,
And that
absolutely.
was for Tuhin and Skip as well, because I haven't seen these beautiful faces in person as well either. Especially when Skip has grown back hair.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you guys. Thank you everybody for joining in. Heslin, really sorry that we didn't give you a shout out today at all, even though you are on our YouTube supporting us over there. Everybody who's tuned in, even if we are signing out, please just hit the share button. It helps us in any small ways. Huge thanks to everybody except for Clement who joined us, because Clement deserves a hug, not a thanks, for keeping us so well entertained.
Yeah, I think Clement's the real entertainer.
Mahapurusha, Mahapurusha.
And then 20th, we have our next stream. Nishank, you want to talk about that as well?
Yes, who do we have? Why do I not know the schedule every time I do this? Okay, guys, so we have actually a pretty interesting lineup, because we have three young, well, not so young guys, but young artists, if I must say, who have been either in the scene for very long and now have recently come out, or they're underrated, or they are just exceptional producers and DJs as well. Armando from Goa, Bo 55 as I call him, but he calls himself Boss from Delhi, and J Pai, one of my favorite Indian producers out there, as well as a fantastic DJ. So we've had film, we've had Russell, and we've had Milano and Goose. Everybody's an exceptional artist in their own way, and we thank you for taking your time out for this talk. So if you have anything to say to all of our viewers, it's to you guys.
Thank you so much, guys. It was an awesome chat session. And one request to everyone: stay safe. Please stay indoors and make sure you all take care of yourselves. And because we are really going through a very challenging time, and everybody has to take a blame for this. Don't point fingers at each other. It's a everybody has played a role in this. So stay safe. Let's try to get out of this whole mess as soon as possible, and that can only happen if we all stick around at home and just make sure that we break this chain. So take care of your health. We would like to see you all soon at our next gigs or outside in real. Thank you so much, Nishant, Tuhin, Skip, Goose. Thank you. It was
Thank you,
fun.
guys.
Thank you guys for coming,
See you
man. It was
guys
awesome to
soon.
have you guys
See you.
on the
Talk
show.
soon. Bye bye.
That's fine.
Bye.
We'll see you in the next one for sure. It's okay if you
Just
missed it.
just stay online, guys.
All right, and in 5,